pretty crazy machine. Yesterday he tried to explain to us the drivetrain, and I don't think a NASA scientist could sort this deal out. Hey Rich, how many speeds did you say it had?
36.
36 speeds. That's better than the 2 that it had before.
All right. Yeah, I've had to put this here for a little bit after Motorama because we had to push hard on the Audi for that show. Now we got some time. We need to clean up a few things and crush some cars. Here we go. Last episode you've seen us get the truck ready. Seats, console, shifting, steering.
This is Bigfoot competition here, isn't it?
It is. We added an engine, took away some of the front suspension. Hydraulics are working, so I can shift it, turn it, and stop it and rev it up from the cab now. That looks pretty sick. I'm gonna fire it up and it'll purr like a kitten. It won't run away and it won't grenade itself. All right, so we're gonna get into the wiring, make it so we can start it from the cab and shut it off from the cab. The shut off actually works opposite that I thought. You have to pull it to shut it off. So we'll have an engine start. We bought these little things off Amazon. They're like 35, 40 bucks. 4 toggle switches and engine start. So we'll have an engine start for both engines. And then I don't know exactly how to shut the front engine off yet. I need a shut off for the back engine, and I'm going to put that right on the top that I can hit just in case whatever. The top ones will do the normal truck functions. We're going to bypass everything. None of the wiring works in the truck. So we'll have one for the blower fan because we're going to have heat inside the cab, and then one for the headlights, and then one for something else. And then these bottom ones, we'll use them for the LED light bars and whatever other functions we need. If we need any more, we'll just keep stacking the toggle switches down here, and then we've got our shifter linkages up here. For the front, this is angled up on the console like this, so I'll fold this over so that it goes nicely on the console, and then we're putting the double din in there, and I'll probably angle that slightly towards me so that, oh yeah, use one of those switches to turn the backup camera on, so we can toggle between the one on the transmission so I can see what gear I'm in, and the one on the back so we can actually see what's behind us. So pretty straightforward. I'll rivet these in place and then just start running wires. Easy, right? Here we go. Factory. Perfect. Probably won't even squeak. That looks pretty sick. Some more holes. I think I have to modify the angle iron just a bit because the radio just catches the piece right here, and my switches here, these 2 switches just catch the piece that runs along that. Fuse and relay panel in place and then start populating it. The fuse panel is just another Amazon special. I really like it. Comes in a nice box that we're not using. Always got to modify it. It just comes with all your spade connectors and your fuses. And then just populate them in however way you want to trigger them. And nice and easy for us to get on. We can hear relays clicking if the engine's not running. I bet you that thing's 110 decibels. Okay, so this is just 714 wire meant for trailers, so you get all your lights, your braking, and ground and whatever else. They're all nicely colored, nicely protected. So I'm gonna run this to the back. All I really need is one to make the engine start and one to make the engine stop. The other ones I can run the wires back to the gauges so I can have temperature, oil, and then have a couple wires just in case. So we'll run them to here, and pretty straightforward. Okay, so biggest thing is this engine came out of a generator, and that governor right there is set up for a load, so it revs up when there's a load on it. I can't get a load on it because physically the engine doesn't have enough power to take off in high gear. So we need to run to WG. I was hoping we'd get another 6V in the yard with a road engine on it, but that didn't happen. So we're gonna pull this governor off and put it on an engine at WG. The competition to V&R. Dun dun dun. They like me. I think they like the guys at V&R. But anyway, let's get into it. Here we go. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. This is the governor. This is where you pull the throttle from. Doesn't really want to go very nice. And somehow this, with a couple levers and a couple springs, moves the rack to give the rack more or less fuel. So this governor would be the same as an 8-cylinder or 10-cylinder. They're just more rows of injectors, more injectors on the same row. So we'll take this cover off and then see what there is to see. I got my little pack out ready to go. I think we got everything. Let's get into it. Okay, so down here you can see these are the weights. If you can see that, these are the weights. They're driven by the blower, and then that is your guides that push. As you rev up, it adds or subtracts fuel. This is just your shut off, and you can see it's just, this is your main throttle, but all that happens when I push the throttle is that spring compresses, and from what I've seen on the internet, the spring is different. So everything is next to brand new in here, and I want to touch as little as possible. So I don't know what the governor looks like at the other place, but basically I'm going to take this whole assembly with me here and just unscrew it, try to pull the spring out, and take this assembly right here, and then take a picture of it, make sure that everything looks exactly the same as the governor on the other engine, and swap what's different. Does that make sense? I'm just gonna make this up as I go. Here we go. So, quick little detour between V&R and WG's. They took a whole bunch of the bus tires off, and figure, well, we better take some of them home because Phil has another deck over trailer that just needs some tires. So we've got nice clean tires, got them all unstrapped. We're going to unload them here and then load up some of this scrap and drop that back off at V&R on the way home from grabbing the governor. It all makes sense, trying to save money and fuel, and it's all working out. The issue is, a lot of these are really dirty. I don't feel like polishing them, but there is quite a few that are nice and shiny. So there is one more section of buses getting their tires stripped, so if there's some clean rims, we'll probably just end up swapping some tires over to the clean rims. But they're all the same tire. They're all Michelin, so they all match, and some of these are even brand new because they were spares. So we'll clean them up, and then we've got a trailer that needs a safety, but then we'll do that in another video. For now, let's unload in the hot sun, break a sweat, and then keep going. Here we go. And there she is in a sea of engines. One of the rare ones left in North America. This one's probably getting shipped to somewhere overseas. Right away I can tell the housing's different because I got two of the linkages on the top. So regardless, I didn't bring the other cover because I thought maybe it'll rain and I don't want rain getting in there. So one more trip back to V&R, that is what it is, but we'll see what it looks like underneath. Because those are the guts. They look pretty well the same. It's hard to tell the operation of this because this rack is completely seized. These injectors are completely seized. This rack is not moving at all, either way. So that's not good. That's not great. But I think the housing and everything's the same. I think it's just the top cover and that thing. So we're gonna change that and then hope for the best. Because the linkages and all that, as far as I can tell from the pictures, look exactly the same. There we go. Okay, it's all protected from the elements. I'll run back to V&R, swap what I got, and then come back and put the other cover back on. So simple. Here we go. Okay, so looking at it, this is the old one. This is the new one. This is the new older one. The orientation of this rod is in a different spot. So now it's odd because to shut it off, I tied it to this one. But this is actually the throttle, and this is how you shut it off. So I don't think I'm going to change the orientation. I think I'm going to leave it alone because we want it to be set up as this. So I think the housing and everything else is exactly the same because it's threaded, even though that's not where, like those threads were never used because the other one is too small. It slides right in, the other governor spring. Here is the spring, that's your low idle, and then this spring does your high idle or your max RPM. So that's to get it to idle, which is controlled by that little screw at the back. And then your main idle is controlled by this one, just screwing this more or less into the housing. So okay, so this sleeve needs to go in that housing. We can see there's a little tapered bushing in there. Just put a bolt in there with a couple washers and I'll try and just pull that sleeve out, and then this should drop right in. And that's all I can do. See if I can, I guess I can get rid of the washer and see if I can pull it through that way. If it's smaller than a 3/8, oh, I don't want to have to go to a 5/16. I'll get it. I just gotta grab my hammer. Would you look at that? Oh, that is a custom Detroit 2-stroke governor extraction tool from generator to on-road. You can buy these on our eBay store for $1,000. Very cool. Okay. There's a little collar you gotta slide out. That would be this collar here. And then this should, if I did my research properly, which was none, it should just screw in there. And be perfect. And I'll fire it up and it'll purr like a kitten. It won't run away and it won't grenade itself and all this awesome stuff. I hope. Anyway, we'll tighten that up and see what happens. There's about 4 threads left when I pulled it out. I'll check my pictures just to be sure, throw the top cover on and send it. Here we go. So the plate is on there, and this feels better than it did on the other engine already. That's my shut off, nice and simple. Feels much better because it sounds like it feels solid. So I gotta flip this handle around so that I'm pulling from this way because that's this cable. And actually I can probably just pop that on there and then we're good. This one I gotta attach to this cable now, so I gotta get that figured out. I gotta angle this one different. The problem is it's starting to rain, and I just got a phone call saying that my new interior for the GTO is delivered and outside my shop getting wet, so I can't have that happening. It is close to the end of the day now between all the running around, so we'll be back in the morning. And we're gonna fire this thing up. I'm gonna do a bunch of wiring for it in my shop tonight so we can install that wiring in the cab there tomorrow. And then we are good to go. So this is exciting. That feels much better. I don't think there's a whole lot else to do. I think all the linkages are the same, but you'll have to wait until tomorrow or the next 30 seconds as the video continues to see whether that works. And we got some cool stuff to crush in the yard. So here we go. Okay, beautiful sunny morning and I'm back. And the birds are pissed. A bunch of birds in the swamp here that don't want me working here. But anyway, now I gotta move this throttle cable up to here somehow because now it's not down here anymore. So I'll probably pull this valve cover off and then move the cable. I can just add a linkage, but I gotta change the angle of it and make that work. So we'll do that, bolt everything down, move the shut-off cable, fire it up. Here we go. Okay, so I just extended it. Now I can put 2 throttle cables on it if I want. But now this will fit on here like that. It's angled up a bit. I haven't tested to see if this would fit on there or not. Nice. Okay, now if I can put a little bit more of an angle on there, and all I'm going to do now, I can nicely spin that back on. Could use a cable, but I think what I'm gonna do, if I twist this more, I can basically just weld that right in there, and then we're golden. That'll line up, keep it nice and tight. Bam. I think so. I think that'll work. Okay, so I welded this rod to that clevis there. Sorry for all the shitty lighting, we're outside. And then that's done, connected to there. Extended that, linkage, twisted her, so that should be good. Gotta get somebody to go in the cab and try it out yet. This linkage, however, was a pain in the butt because that was a small hole and it didn't fit my cable. So I had to drill it out, but of course we don't have a good drill bit, so that now is an 11/30 seconds, and then of course this didn't fit, so I had to grind the edge of that off, and then it fell between the seats of the Grand Marquis there. The yard trucks, so I had to find that, and now that fits through, spins. Of course they don't have any never sees, they got Loctite. Apparently they don't ever take stuff apart again here. So I got to shove that cable through there again so that the shut off works. At the end of the day, we still have our flap. We can shut that off in the case of an emergency. But yeah, that should be it. And then we can make our adjustments and then put the cover back on. So here we go. Linkages are all done. The only issue is I need return springs. So I got this one here. I can probably tie it to there. And this one needs to go over to here somewhere. And then we'll bolt everything down tight, and I think we're ready to fire. So, take the old Grand Marquis, and I think there's probably a spring or two back there somewhere. Okay, so they actually had a bin with a bunch of springs in there, so we just grabbed these. That should work. That'll probably be fine. Leave that out. Okay. It's magic. I'll get Aaron to hop in the cab and make sure that those work. And then I think I'll run my starter wire up into here so I can start it from here. Because I don't know about the governor. Could run away, could blow up, could not start at all. Who knows? It's an adventure. It's an adventure. So, here we go. Release the handle. Yeah, do it again, all the way down. Okay, now release the handle. Do you pull up on the pedal with your hand? The pedal doesn't pop up on its own?
No.
Okay. Wait.
It takes a while.
Yeah, that's not full return, so. Okay. I'll have to move that one. Do the foot throttle, like the actual throttle. Although, that's the floor? Okay, that's full throttle. Let go. Okay, again. Yeah, mash it. Yeah, hard. Like you hate it. Okay. Yep, all right. Let go. All right, that works proper. So, okay. A little more tension on the other one. And we should be good. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna get the internet just a honking. We got a red jerry can full of diesel, but we'll tell everybody it's gas because these Detroits run on anything. There was a little bit of controversy where we did an oil change on an 8V92 and everybody said we need a straight 30. And that's not wrong, but other people said we need a straight 40 and they're also not wrong. And then we had other people saying 1540 is fine and they're also not wrong. That's the winter weight for now. We're gonna put T4 in because that's what we have. I put it in everything. It's in my lawnmowers, the old GTO, it's in pretty well everything. So we're gonna top up the oil and then give it some gas or diesel or kerosene or vegetable oil or grease. I'm not sure, but we're gonna fire it up. Here we go. Don't wreck the car! No! Ah! 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 That's a Grand Marquis! What are you doing? Because I get nervous every single time I fire this thing up. I don't know why, but we'll probably because it's about as ghetto as it gets. But so right now I'm just trying to do a proof of concept, making sure the transmission shifts so we can get some speed, and then we'll get everything wired up properly. I did not have time as of yet, but let's see what happens. Awesome. All right, so that idle is way too high, but it fires up and it shuts off and it didn't run away. That is a success. Awesome. All right, we'll play with the idle first. That is this screw back here. Of course, I don't have an Allen. Not sure which way that goes. I need an Allen for that. Shit. All right, let's see if it revs up. It actually sounds way better.
Yeah.
Than it did
Maybe because
before.
we're outside.
Maybe. It had, so that exhaust gasket's leaking like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's coming in the morning. I ordered that exhaust gasket like a couple of weeks ago and it still hasn't come in. They're telling me tomorrow, but the little pitch that you're hearing is that. The camera really accentuates all the noises. All right. All right, okay. Okay, so for the idle, we just turn this jam nut and then spin this one way or the other. We'll see what happens. We want to put less spring pressure on it, I think, or more. I don't know. We'll turn it one way. If it goes faster, we'll turn it the other way. ATF, which is fine. We actually did some cycling with it. We should probably put some sort of air filter on this thing. Don't crush it anymore! Hey! Make it look like a car!
Oh my, no way.
Hey, so it didn't go as fast as I liked it to go, but that's because it's not shifting. Now, I called Excalibur. I said, build me a transmission I don't have to do anything with. And these were kind of just before my time. These would have been like late 80s, 90s kind of transmissions. I was into the M3060s and the Allison 1000s and 2000s, which is what we got in the F350. But this does actually need one more part. And that is a modulator shift cable that goes right here and connects to the throttle. So we called all around asking for if anybody had one, Allison dealer, and they're like, what's your VIN number? I'm like, I don't have a VIN number. I have nothing, it's a tank. So unfortunately we couldn't get one in time for this video. There's one on order from Excalibur. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna take it home. It's gonna go in the Dunville Parade. We got our big town festival this weekend. It's going in the car show. And then I'll get that all fixed up and finish off the wiring and everything else. So we're gonna load it up. The cab over is done. Safety, E-tested on the road. But I did not get the wet line on it yet. So we have to use V&R's truck to tilt and load so we can drive this on, and then we'll swap the trucks, drive it through the parade, and go from there. So, looking forward to that. Here we go, boys. Thanks for watching. Didn't do everything that I hoped it would do this time around, but it will. Engine feels great. Feels so much more responsive with that governor. And we'll have her rocking in the next video, throwing up dust and crushing cars and driving through things. So here we go. It puts it in perspective when it's on the trailer because it's just so stinking big.